Mother, how are you?
Darling.
Hello.
I'm so glad you came home early.
You bet. I'm through working late. From now on, I'm coming home where I'm appreciated. All your guests show up?
All except Mrs. Hackathorn. She couldn't come.
That's good.
But you'll have to take her place. We're playing bridge, you know.
Bridge my hat.
I'll just lay it.
I thought you liked bridge.
Oh, I don't mind the game, but the players. Those old women.
I think they're fun. You always seem to get such a lot of laughs out of their broadcasting gossip. I've never seen you laugh so much last week as when... Is that so?
Ah, yes, sure. There are a lot of laughs, I know.
Come on.
What do you need? Hello, Sydney. How are you?
John, sit down here with Mr. Duckwilder and Miss Thomas.
We're highly honored, my
Sure.
dear.
You dealing, Mrs. Thomas?
Yes?
Well.
Hello, John.
Hello, Dorothy.
Mr. Wyatt, are you by chance one of the Wyatts of Boston?
That's correct. There aren't any left in Boston. They're all out here in Los Angeles. Oh, and Pomona.
Oh, yes. Well, I pass. 2 hearts.
2 pass.
I pass.
Did everyone pass? Then I have it for 2 hearts. Hearts a trump, John.
Oh, yes, that's right. Hearts.
You don't play. You're the dummy.
I'm the what?
You're the dummy.
Oh, yes, that's right. Sure. I'm the dummy. There we
Well,
are.
that's very nice.
Well,
I
if
guess
you'll
we should
pardon me,
make-
I'll step right out and have a smoke.
Very well. All right.
Oh, pardon me. I'm going outside to smoke. I'm the dummy.
All right.
They must have a cigarette. Things sure happen fast in California. Back home it takes months and months.
Oh, hello. Got a cigarette?
Sure, come on up.
How's everything going over here?
Oh, just fine. John and I won our bid.
Good.
John is a very charming man. You should be very proud of him. In my opinion, he's 1 in a million. And as I was saying just before you sat down, I'll bet he never looks at another woman.
I'd hate to think he was so innocent.
You know, I hadn't noticed you were so fascinating before. Of course, maybe it's the new gown.
Maybe.
Well, I guess I'll have to disturb John's smoke.
Oh, never mind, Mr. McWilder. Go ahead and deal. I'll call him.
Very well. Perhaps it's for the best.
You must come up and we'll make an evening of it.
Why, yes. Of course, I'd love to.
Can you make it tomorrow afternoon? I have the coziest little apartment with nobody to disturb us.
$0.80, sir.
Just keep it all.
Thank you, sir. Is that all, madam?
Yes, thank you. Well?
Well?
Hello.
Hello.
Is Miss Pierce in?
No, she's not in.
Are you sure?
I saw her with my own eyes, and she said she wouldn't be back for hours and hours.
Try her apartment again. I'd like to find out when she'll be back.
All right. Hello. Mrs. Wyatt wants to know when you'll be back. I mean, when Miss Pierce will be back. The maid didn't know when she'd come in.
I'll go up and keep the maid company till she gets back.
But you can't do... Hello. Hello.
What? She's on her way up here.
I better step into this room until she goes.
Hello, June, dear. Was that you downstairs, that dumb operator? I thought she said Mrs. Hyatt. And you know that old gossip, I wouldn't talk to her for anything. Of course not. May I take your hat? Oh, no thanks. Well, what a lovely negligee. But why are you wearing it at this hour? You're just getting up? No. I always wear it to loll around in. It's so awfully comfortable. Gee, I'm glad you dropped in, June. I didn't know what to do with myself. May I have a cigarette? Yes, I'll get you one. Oh, don't bother. I'll take one of these. Oh, I didn't know you used this kind. It's the same thing John smokes. That's odd, isn't it? Oh, I changed my brand recently on account of my throat. Well, John has one just like this. And aren't these his initials? Oh, yes. Yes, those are his. I bought it from him at the party last night. You must return it to him this afternoon. Oh, that's funny. I was sure I had one from it this morning. Maybe that he has two just alike. Yes, I never thought of that. Do you mind if I powder my nose? Not at all. Here's a big mirror right over here. I think I'll go on to the bathroom. I want to wash my hands.
June, where are you going?
It wouldn't matter to you.
Martha! Oh, Martha!
Yes, sir, Mr. John.
Where's Mrs. Wyatt?
Miss June's done gone.
You mean she's left the house? She was here, but she's left?
That's it, Mr. John. She just said goodbye to me.
Well, didn't she say anything else?
No, she didn't say nothing. That man just loaded her bags in the taxi and out she went.
But she must have said something about where she was going.
Oh, sir, she just said she was in a hurry and she had better hurry because that's the last train to Reno.
Reno? Reno, my hat.
Well, my dear lady, with all these details, I'll be glad to take your case.
And it won't take long, Mr. Garrett?
6 weeks is all.
6 weeks? Well, that's terribly long.
It's a shame, Mrs. Wyatt. But, personally, my opinion is that it shouldn't take any longer to get divorced than it does to get married.
That would be lovely.
And why should it? Why? You don't know? No reason. No reason at all.
And you'll do everything as quickly as you can, Mr. Garrett?
Oh, of course, Mrs. Wyatt. There is the question of a retainer.
Oh, naturally. I understand.
Of the entire matter, we will say $500. So I'd suggest $200 as a retainer.
There you are.
And here is your receipt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wyatt. Now you're as good as a single woman already. Adrian Garrett never failed.
I beg your pardon.
Yes?
Mrs. Maynard is here.
Mrs. Maynard? Ah, there is a lady that you should meet. Ask Mrs. Maynard in, if you please.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Mr. Garrett. I don't know a soul here.
Mrs. Maynard will acquaint you with Reno. Oh, yes, you're from Los Angeles. A splendid suburban market for Reno. Oh, Mrs. Maynard. Delighted.
Mr. Garrett, I hope that I'm not intruding.
Not at all, Mrs. Wyatt. Mrs. Maynard. Sisters under the skin, eh?
It's awfully nice meeting you, Mrs. Wyatt.
Thank you, Mrs. Maynard.
Oh, just call me Gwen. It's not my real name, but then you know no one here is called by their real name. Well, let's see. We'll have to get a name for you. How would you like Margaret? No. Then, Mary. No. Peggy. Peggy, that's it.
Well, that's thrilling. Peggy.
The last name doesn't matter. You know, they have so little value in Reno.
It's all quite bewildering to me yet.
I know. We all have to get over the first shock of it. But don't let it last too long.
I don't think I quite understand.
Well, it's this way, Peggy. You mustn't sit around worrying and brooding, or you'll miss a lot of fun. When you get here, you're starting on a new life. So start quickly. You forgot to comb your hair. You know, the first time I came to Reno, I was an awfully silly thing. If you can believe it, I was afraid to spend 6 weeks here. And my clothes, well, my dear, they were just terrible. You'd have just thought I was one of the help.
You're right, Gwen. Well, I've turned the corner. The new life can't start too soon. For Peggy.
That's the Reno spirit, Peggy.
Mrs. Maynard, would you assure Mrs. Wyatt that I am reliable?
Oh, don't
speedy?
mind him. Oh, he's always so